Hey, what's up, you guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Tisa Tells, we need to set the record straight. I know a lot of people right now are saying the feds are folding, they're dropping charges, they're scared of their own witnesses. And yeah, on the surface, it looks like a retreat. But hold on, y'all. Because what if what they did today with dropping those state charges, those predicate acts, what if this is the opposite of panic? What if it is precision? You guys, let me be clear, because a lot of these dumb Diddy deniers were in my comments saying, I told you, statute of limitations. You're a wicked person. Imagine calling me someone going to bat for the victims of SA and DV wicked. I'll pray for you, right? Oh, God teaches us not to delight. Baby, my God taught me to delight in everything he created, and Diddy's downfall is what he created. But actually, let's get into this, because a lot of dumb Diddy deniers are saying, told you one stick, he's getting off. You see what you're saying? Let me be absolutely clear. The feds have tightened their grip on Diddy. Now, I'm not going to lie, because y'all know I like to be straight with you. It is a huge legal gamble, but one the feds 100% believe that they can afford to make. And on this video, we're going to break down how and why the feds basically think they got their cake and eat it too. Why Diddy's defense team is furious that they can't get this stuff removed. We're going to talk about that. And also why this is a gamble, right? A gamble when it comes to the jury, but one that the feds say confident in making. You guys, listen, I will say this, okay? Keep hope alive. We are still in the game. They still have the strongest charges, which are the RICO charges, okay? Which are the RICO charges? But get this, all right? The feds aren't trying to win the headline war. They're trying to win in federal court, where emotion won't carry a bad case. But what they just did, according to prosecutors, is cut the fat. They took out messy, complicated state charges and said, you know what? Forget the distractions. Here's what we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt in federal terms. And we don't want a single confused juror throwing this whole thing off. Again, you guys, this isn't about backing off. This is about lining up the cleanest possible shot at a conviction that they know will stick. And if you know anything about federal prosecutors, they don't bring messy cases. They bring cases to win, and they don't like to lose. So yeah, I'm not going to lie, this does feel like a loss, okay? And it even had me on Reddit threads being like, wait a second, like, is this a plea deal? Is this a secret plea? Is he buying money talks? But get this, so I get it, it feels like a loss. Until I talk to a lot of lawyers, and they make you realize that this is the legal version of removing your armor so you can move faster. They drop the state charges to go leaner, meaner, and harder at the core of this enterprise because RICO is still alive, sex trafficking is still alive, obstruction is still alive, and the firepower charge, the bang bangs, baby, that's a federal knockout punch if they can land it. Okay? Again, you guys, the feds didn't fold. They focused. This wasn't a surrender. It was a scalpel. And if they're right, the scalpel is headed straight for Diddy. But again, you know I like to be honest with y'all. This is a huge legal gamble. And here's what it signals and why it's so risky. You guys, let's be real. Just because the feds are playing like it's a 4D chess game doesn't mean it's not risky. And anybody that is anybody is acting, it's simple, you guys. Less charges, more. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. It is okay to acknowledge risk. It's okay to acknowledge where the other team makes some headway. It's okay to acknowledge reality. Okay? The same as a football game, you got to acknowledge reality. Let's acknowledge it. Just because they're playing 4D chess does not mean it's not risky. In fact, it's one of the biggest legal gambles we've seen in a celebrity federal case in years. So what's the gamble, you might ask? By dropping the state level charges, the government is removing some of the most specific, emotional, and detailed criminal acts tied to the individual victims. That sends a message, whether they meant to or not, that the feds may not be fully confident that those witnesses or individual acts would hold up in court, or worse, okay, that the witnesses tied to the individual acts might not stand up or didn't stand up under the cross-examination. Think about what they dropped: attempted arson, attempted kidnapping, aiding and abetting sex trafficking under California and New York law. That's not nothing. Those charges had names, they had stories, they had rooms, buildings, fire threats, timelines. Those are the acts that grab jurors by the throat. So when you remove them, you're signaling that maybe it wasn't that bad. And that's where the risk explodes, because now the jury hears the story without those official charges on the table. And it can very easily create reasonable doubt. Jurors start wondering, if Diddy didn't actually do those things, then how is this sex trafficking? Why would the government drop those charges if they really had them? And that's where defense attorneys thrive, planting doubt through omission. Again, admittedly, it's a messaging problem too. The defense has already set up the narrative, okay? That this was personal. Yes, they might have done all that, but it wasn't RICO. They just happened to bribe, happened to obstruct, but it wasn't RICO. That's a dangerous headline for the prosecution, even if the core federal charges still hold up. And it feeds right into the same energy that helped get Young Thug free, okay? So why would the feds take this risk? Because they're betting everything on the bigger story, that this is a criminal enterprise, that Diddy was a boss, and that people around him didn't act alone. And to tell that story, they're choosing to strip away the messiest details and go for a clean federal takedown. This is basically the feds saying, we don't trust the jury to process all of it, so let's give them the cleanest shot. But when you remove the loudest charges in the room, you better be damn sure your quiet ones still scream conviction. Okay? Again, you guys, a lot is on the line. A lot is on the line. But it makes you wonder, do you think the jury can buy this? Do you think the jury will buy this? Okay? Listen, keep in mind also that even though they might not have the charges, they still heard the testimony. And that testimony is not going anywhere. That testimony is not going anywhere.